Well, this is an incomplete file. It does not reflect the FBI's thinking, just what was reported to federal agents. I've been seeking these FBI files since October 2023, and the FBI just released the first part of them. We now have a little more insight into how agents investigated the death of Shanquella Robinson.
And things are only getting worse. Now Shan's friends are pushing for the case to be handled in Mexico, probably because they know there's a high chance nothing will come of it if it stays there. It's frustrating to see how long this has dragged on, but let's break it down and hope that the family finally gets the justice they deserve. The last major update came a few weeks ago when Shan's family took legal action against the Cabo 6, hoping it would lead to some real answers. They filed a lawsuit demanding accountability and the truth about what really happened, but they didn't stop there. Shan's mother...
FBI records show they spoke to a redacted person who referenced that fight and said they aren't sure what happened. But the unknown person claimed Shanquella's friend said she was drinking and hit her head on the toilet. The documents say the person also told investigators they saw pictures of Shanquella's body and said she looks like she was stomped on. The person also believed there were cameras in the house.
There also included federal authorities in the lawsuit, making it clear that she believes they lied and tampered with the autopsy. She's not backing down, and she's calling them out for what she believes was a cover-up. The fact that this case is still unresolved is heartbreaking. From the beginning, there have been too many inconsistencies, unanswered questions, and delays. Instead of getting the truth, Shan's loved ones have been forced to fight an uphill battle just to get the most basic information. And now, with this push to move the case to Mexico, it feels like another roadblock, a way to make sure justice never happens. It's frustrating to watch because the facts should speak for themselves. But instead of clarity, there's just more confusion. The family has been through so much already, and the last thing they need is another delay. One thing is for sure, until they get the truth, they're not giving up.
It's not going to bring back Shanquella Robinson, but it's that I know that the FBI should have been done something at this time, after 2 years ago. I know a lot of stuff that was in the phones of Shanquella Robinson that I gave to the FBI, and the FBI looked over it like it was nothing. And and just like you just pushed my daughter up under the rug when you should have been arrested these people. You had a video where she was being... But you want to mess with the autopsy and say that she did not have a broken back or spine when the FBI are deliberately lying. Because attorney had already, not my attorney, but attorney had already told me don't let the FBI mess with that autopsy, that they were going to switch it around. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm fed up with this stuff. I need justice for my child.
When Shanquella Robinson's family filed a lawsuit, it wasn't just about getting justice for her. It was about holding people accountable. They wanted answers from those who were supposed to investigate, take action, and protect U.S. citizens abroad. The family's attorney made it clear that Shanquella's tragic death and the way federal authorities mishandled the case only added to their pain. They weren't just grieving their loss, they were also fighting for the truth. They deserved full transparency and justice, yet they kept hitting roadblocks at every turn. In the lawsuit, Shanquella's mother, Shanquella Robinson, claimed that she had suffered damages exceeding $25,000 due to her daughter's wrongful death. But more than just financial damages, she accused the FBI of hiding key records related to the investigation. The family had tried to obtain these documents through Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, requests, but they were met with silence and delays. The lawsuit also pointed fingers at the U.S. State Department and the FBI, accusing them of negligence. What made this even more infuriating was that the FBI and the State Department had already announced they wouldn't be filing charges, claiming there wasn't enough evidence. This, despite a viral video circulating online that showed one of the Cabo 6 attacking Shanquella while she was naked in a hotel room. The disturbing footage captured two people standing by, watching and recording instead of helping. And that wasn't the only suspicious video. Another clip, one of the last Shanquella posted on Instagram, showed her looking for her friends at the hotel. When she found them, they acted strangely, almost as if they were hiding something. Reports later suggested there was even more to the attack. Allegedly, Winter Donovan grabbed Shanquella and slammed her to the ground, a move that may have caused fatal injuries. And yet, when her so-called friends spoke to authorities, they kept changing their stories. One said they found her unconscious on the floor. Another claimed she was in bed. A third person told her father she was in a chair. These contradictions only made the case more suspicious. Shanquella's mother also recalled the strange sequence of phone calls she received. First, her daughter's friends called to say something had happened. Minutes later, they called again, saying they had contacted an ambulance. Not long after, another call came. Shanquella was gone. They made it seem like the whole ordeal lasted just a few minutes, but official reports told a different story. To make matters worse, Shanquella's friends initially told her family that she had died from alcohol poisoning. But the autopsy conducted by Mexican authorities revealed something far more horrific. She had suffered a severe spinal cord injury and an atlas luxation, a condition affecting the upper vertebrae. There was no mention of alcohol poisoning at all. Another major inconsistency was in the timeline of events. According to the medical report, a doctor suggested that Shanquella be taken to a hospital for better care, but her friends insisted she be treated at the hotel instead. At around 4:20 p.m., she had a seizure, and that's when Winter Donovan finally called 911. By the time paramedics arrived, it was already too late. The doctor reportedly tried CPR until 4:49 p.m., but she was pronounced dead. Yet even the time of death was a mystery. The autopsy stated that she passed away 15 minutes after sustaining her injuries, but the police report claimed she was under medical care for nearly 3 hours. The death certificate listed her passing at 3:00 p.m., while the police report said it was at 5:57 p.m. On top of that, the autopsy stated that she died from spinal cord injuries, but the police report listed cardiac arrest instead. Another strange detail? In the video that went viral, Shanquella was completely unclothed. But when she was found, she was dressed in pink biker shorts and a t-shirt, positioned near the bathroom. It seemed like someone staged the scene to make it look like she had simply fallen. Despite all of these inconsistencies, U.S. authorities still claimed there wasn't enough evidence to file charges. And when the family tried to get answers from the FBI, they were told they might have to wait up to 5 years for a response. 5 years. For a case that already had clear video evidence, suspicious behavior, and an autopsy report contradicting what her so-called friends had claimed. It's no wonder Shanquella's family is still fighting. They know something isn't right, and they refuse to let this case be swept under the rug. They're demanding the truth, because Shanquella deserves justice.
In our lawsuit, we allege we have presented the FBI with a public records request in order to be able to assess what was done on the case. And their response was, we can get back to you in 5 years, which obviously would be an even more significant delay, even more significant erosion of evidence in the case, memories of witnesses, etc. So it's an unacceptable response.
Even though the family was upset about how the case was being handled, the FBI recently released new documents related to the investigation. However, a large part of the information was blacked out, including the names of the people who spoke with agents. According to these heavily edited files, Shanquella's body had serious injuries, including bruises and wounds that suggested she had been stomped on. This added to the suspicion that she was violently attacked before her death. Authorities also raised concerns that there might have been hidden cameras inside the Airbnb where Shanquella and her friends were staying. If true, these cameras could contain crucial footage showing exactly what happened in the moments leading up to her tragic passing. The family has been pushing for answers, but the lack of transparency from officials has only made their pain worse. They have questioned why key details are being kept from them and why there has been no accountability, despite the disturbing evidence. The video of Shanquella being attacked went viral, yet authorities claimed there was not enough proof to file charges. To make matters worse, conflicting reports about her cause of death have added to the confusion. While her friends initially told the family she died from alcohol poisoning, the autopsy revealed she suffered a severe spinal cord injury. The timeline of events also doesn't add up, making it even harder for the family to trust the investigation. Now, with the FBI's newly released documents hinting at more evidence, the family is demanding the full truth. They want justice for Shanquella and accountability for those responsible, both for the crime itself and for the failures in the investigation. Shanquella's family is fighting to keep the case in the U.S., while her so-called friends are pushing for it to be handled in Mexico. In a surprising move, Kill Cook, one of the people involved, recently filed a request to dismiss the wrongful death lawsuit. He argued that the U.S. District Court for the Western District of North Carolina is not the right place for the case. The other three friends, Elisa Hyatt, Winter Donovan, and Malik Dyer, also want the case to follow Mexican law since the incident happened there. Their legal motion claims that because Shanquella's death occurred outside the U.S., it should be handled in Mexico, not North Carolina, where they now live. However, Shanquella's mother strongly disagrees. She argues that since the lawsuit was filed by an American citizen against other American citizens who fled to North Carolina after the tragedy, the case should be handled in the U.S. This raises a big question. Why are her so-called friends so desperate to have the case moved to Mexico? One possible reason is corruption. When the details of this case first came out, a journalist investigating it revealed shocking claims. They said that Mexican police